Number 1, be happy in the back of the pack. 2, heal thyself. 3, know why you are on this mission. 4, it's a head game and a heart game. 5, visualize it. Feel it's done before you start. 6, know yourself and humanity better. 7, laugh. Life is fun. Feel good every day. 8, plant-based foods are it. Period. 9, love your feet. 10, review what you've learned, set new goals. Almost anybody can learn how to do this for themselves. Sometimes the learning curve seemed like a long and winding road, but in reality it was pretty quick from that first marathon to being able to do 100 miles. Tip number 1, be happy at the back of the pack. There's no point in being overly competitive, worrying too much about speed and time for a first 100-miler. Any 100-miler you find is going to have a time limit. So don't be afraid to use most of that time. How does running for almost 29 hours feel? Actually, a lot easier than I expected. Number 2, learn to heal yourself. Be very cautious about the well-meaning general public, friends, family, neighbors, and medical professionals. Self-trained and injury-free is the affordable and efficient way to learn how to run 100 miles. You know, medical people are business people. There's salesmanship and profit involved. Patients are also customers. Be careful to not let them teach you that you're broken and only they can fix you. That's not necessarily true. Our bodies are generally self-healing under the right conditions. Learn what most doctors do not know. Great running technique and excellent nutrition can negate the need for most medical interference. The idea being, of course, to root out the real causes of symptoms and fix those instead of spinning your wheels, spending a lot of time and money treating symptoms. Tip number 3, know exactly why you want to run 100 miles. Endurance running is a great form of multitasking. Mind, body, spirit, everything at once. You're doing it all. Tip number 4, it's a head game and a heart game. Our thoughts are vital, they're key, but our emotions, our heart, are like an amplifier. In some ways, this aspect of running a 100-miler is the most exciting part. What I'm talking about is using quantum physics and the ancient principles of karma. Whether or not you believe these things or not, they're happening right now. It's always happening. The law of attraction states like attracts like. Simple physics, but at the level of thought and emotion. Said simply, we become what we think and feel about. If you want to run 100 miles badly enough, you'll simply attract the energy, wisdom, and circumstances to make it happen. Stay focused with positive emotions on what you want and avoid thinking about what you do not want. Tip number 5, visualize success. Feel it as if you're actually doing it. Tip number 6, get to know yourself much better. You're going to have to work to eliminate your weaknesses and build your strengths simultaneously. In the video description below, I'll include many links to my past videos, etc., that get into more detail as to how you can recondition yourself, strengthen yourself. Through this process, you really should gain a much deeper understanding of yourself and really what it is to be human, to experience joy, feeling good every day. Tip number 7, use humor, a laugh as much as you can. Smiling often and laughing helps you maintain a positive sense of curiosity. So remember to try and gather energy from every person that you might see out there during your 100 miles. even the animals you might come across. Running is fun. Life should be fun. Just feel good. Number 8, it's about the food, specifically plant power. In the book Born to Run, Coach Joe Vigil offered up a lot of great advice, including eat like you are third world poor. Basically, there's plant-based foods that nourish us ideally and help heal us, perfect for recovery. And then there's animal-based foods that all have weaknesses you do not need in your life. Simply integrate whole plant-based foods, preferably organics, and eliminate all meat, eggs, dairy, and over-processed foods. On a 100% plant-strong diet, it's still easy to take in too many calories. Part 2 on this subject is fine-tuning a plant-strong diet to fuel you through 100 miles. For a 20 to 30 hour event, roughly, you're going to be running a deficit. You're going to probably be burning up 400 to 600 calories per hour, but during heavy strenuous exercise, you're really only going to be able to process about 200 calories per hour. So make them count. Number 9, very important, take great care of your feet. You might be touching the ground more than 250,000 times during a 100-mile event. Try to get out there with the very least amount of foot protection that you can get by with. You want to have the widest shoe that'll work for you. Your feet will swell. After about a marathon or whatever, your feet are going to swell. So some basic tips for your feet: apply Body Glide and or something like Burt's Bees hand salve to your feet. Wear toe socks to also help eliminate blistering, and keep your shoelaces extra loose if you're wearing shoes. Number 10, review what you've learned. Before I even got to the finish line, I was already thinking about signing up for the same event the following year. When you run for 29 hours, you have a lot of time to think about all the things you did to get you there, what worked, maybe what didn't. Everything's connected, not just humans. When you respect that, you can transform yourself and beyond. So go run 100 miles and feel good.